Good morning, everybody. This is Cindy Cochran on the Cindy Cochran Show. That works out well. It is Friday, and Friday is usually a great day because it's starting the weekend and all that. And I'm just gonna go home and get in bed and eat chicken noodle soup, and I'm gonna get better.
She does not look well.
I'm gonna get better. This stuff is just taking me down, and and I don't know if Richard really appreciates me dragging myself here. I just don't know if he does or not. But I know that my guest today, Dennis O'Connor, appreciates it. And
hello.
We have a different type of show, and normally with Dennis, it's all hee hee ha ha ho.
Lighthearted,
fun stuff. And when you hear Dennis's story that he's going to tell today, you will think, how does this guy even smile? How can he smile? I want to tell you something. My mother told me as I was growing up, no matter what you think is a problem, people have bigger problems. So quit dwelling on your little problems because it could be so much worse. She would never allow me to enjoy my problem. I said, Mom, could you just let me enjoy this, what's going on, right? Just let me have, and then I'll be asked for forgiveness. But she said, no, you don't dwell on those, and just think about the people who have more problems than you. And sometimes people need to know that so that it makes them feel like, well, it's not so bad, I can get through this. And I felt different things that bothered me or problems that I thought I had. And then I listened to Dennis's whole story, Dennis O'Connor's story last night. And if you think you got it bad, there should be a show called You Think You Got It Bad? Listen to what Dennis is getting ready to tell us. You would have never, ever known this about Dennis. Dennis, to me, has so much respect from me, not the way he talks, but because of his actions. His actions speak louder, much louder than the curse words he may say. Because Dennis and his wife, Barbara,
I'm trying to be
ex-wife Barbara, had adopted a little boy, and when they put this little boy in his arms, and then he finds out the problems that this child was going to encounter as he grew up, and
cerebral palsy.
They said, you can take him back, and he said, no. As soon as that baby hit my arms, that was my baby.
That's my son.
That's your son, and he has taken care of that baby.
30 years now.
30 years. He has been solely responsible for that child.
Well,
and there's
Barbara
times,
too.
of course, Barbara.
No.
Of course.
Barbara and I share responsibility. Yes.
But Dennis, I'm talking about you have had such a profound influence on that child, and so sweet. And you watch them together, and you see, Dennis takes him everywhere he goes. There's no handicap there at all, no barrier, and he takes him everywhere he goes. And it's just amazing watching him, how sweet he is. He's very, very, very sensitive to the needs of other people. And I want to tell you this because it's going to preface what you're about to hear that is going on in his life, and that after April 26th, there could be, Dennis could be taken away from us. And I don't mean somebody's going to kill him, but I'm saying that he may be extradited out of the city to New York. And it will infuriate you that these kind of things can go on. What prompted this, him telling me, you should hear my story, is we talked about the softball coach and him committing suicide and all that. And Dennis reminded me, he says, look, you're innocent until proven guilty. And that's right. And this guy, but he took his life and he wasn't able to tell his side of the story. And so we assume that. And we shouldn't assume anything about anybody. And Dennis has taught me not to assume that you know what's going on in somebody's life until it happens, until they tell you their side of the story. So this is Dennis O'Connor's side of the story. And I'm going to let you, Dennis, start and explain what's happened. And we'll go from there. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being so brave.
You're welcome. This is not easy. I'm going to try not to cry in the middle of this stuff.
You better not, because you know what I will do.
Yeah. Turn the waterworks.
We'll both be.
I'm going to have to speak in general terms in a lot of this because of a legal situation which is once again occurring between me and the state of New York, where I moved to in 2007 and then moved back to Texas to get the bullseye off my back years later. To be with family and friends because New York was not a friendly place for me.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is that I remarried for the third time in Texas, and during that marriage, I had 3 children. Now I'm pretty old, you know. I'm 65 right now, so it's kind of old to have a bunch of little kids. But it seemed like a matter of love at the time, and it was love between, for all intents and purposes. You know, I was in heaven for a good period of time, and I have a son who is 10, a son who is 8, and a son and a daughter who is 6 in New York right this minute.
And you haven't seen them for how long?
I have not seen them in going on 5 years. I have not been allowed to have any contact with them. The story here is that during any custody hearing, which could occur between a man and a woman who just can't get along, and decide to break up. There is a moment at which you can have the nuclear solution happen, which is to say that if a person goes to, let's say, a lawyer and says, I want to discuss custody about my 3 kids because it's just not working out. The agreement between us is just not working out. She may be, whoever that person might be it he or she, is taking the kids back when it's supposed to be my day, you know. And so you go to a lawyer and you consult with them for a few minutes and without pay, because if you're poor, like some of us are and were in this situation, and can't afford a lawyer, you can consult with him. And he says, well, the worst thing that could happen would be an order of protection gets filled out against you.
That's what he said to you. The lawyer said to you.
That's what a lawyer can say to someone. And so someone might laugh and say, oh, well, you know, that's crazy. Of course, you know, this person may have inferred that they were going to accuse you of sexual molestation the night before. And well, anyway, I was in the county courthouse in New York trying to fill out these simple custody paperwork that says I want 50-50 custody of my children because since my separation, I had my kids for a couple months, you know, for almost a half of the week. It was pretty well separated out. And so they were living fine in this apartment, a great downscale from my previous residence, 3,000 square feet of 5 bathrooms and very fancy joint, you know. And I had this little raggedy apartment, you know, but it had 3 bedrooms and a place for the kids. I built bunk beds and everything else. And so we were getting along fine. And but that there came that day that the worst day of my life was when I mentioned that I was going to see a lawyer the next day, and just to find out what the deal is. We need to get this in black and white, you know, this custody situation. You know, you get them this time, I get them that time, that kind of thing. And so I'm sitting down at the, after I talked to this lawyer that morning, I'm sitting down at the courthouse, and I'm filling out the papers. Simple paperwork, custody, 50-50, not saying anything bad about my spouse, just simple stuff. this is what I need, this is what I want, for my kids to be with me, and could you do that? And this police officer walks up and says, "Are you Dennis O'Connor?" And I said, "Well, yeah."
Now hold
Yeah.
that thought. We're going to come right back to Dennis O'Connor's story, and that's going to be where we're going to pick up. The officer walks up and asks you if you're Dennis O'Connor, and then we're going to go from there. This is a horrible, horrible custody case that went wrong, and Dennis is in big danger of being extradited from this state to New York because of allegations, just allegations. And we want you to listen to the rest of his story. Dennis and myself will be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
And we're back. There's some good news today that we found out that,
Yes.
our good friend Campobello. I love saying his last name. Campobello.
Campbell.
Craig Campobello. He is the infamous artist around town, isn't he? He created that gold statue in front of the Spirit of Texas Bank, which everybody goes by and goes, say what?
The only gold gilded public statue in Texas.
In Texas. It's right here with us. And if you ever have a chance, if you live in this area, go down 105. It's east on 105 from 45. And you will see this amazing, it looks like the White House. And then in front of it is standing, the Lady, that's Lady Liberty.
Texas Lady Liberty.
Texas
Lady Liberty,
Liberty.
Texas. Yes.
It's amazing. And it is gold leafed from Italy. That was just amazing when I
the
found
gold
that
came
out.
from the old families in Italy who have been doing it for centuries.
Yeah, that blew my mind. And it's right there, right here in Conroe, Texas. And so, but he also, he was revealed today, or was it yesterday? Was it this morning?
I think it was this morning. Yes, it's a miniature of the same statue, which is by miniature I mean the thing is about
4?
I don't know 3. No, well with the stand it's probably 4 feet tall or whatever.
In front of the
Alamo.
And he is the only living artist with
To have work displayed
any
at
work
the Alamo.
displayed at the Alamo. That is just so exciting. So big kudos to Craig. I just think that's great.
That's a pretty neat thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So that was good news. We had, of course, yesterday I didn't know about while I was on the air about Prince dying, and so my tribute to him is my 1993 MTV T-shirt that I have on today, and my Purple Rain shirt. So, and that's about all I can work. Because if I hear Purple Rain one more time, I'm going like, because it makes me sad because it reminds me of my kids. That was their big, hero. They loved him. I didn't understand a lot of the words he said. Now that I do understand them, I'm going like, I can't believe I let them listen to some of the stuff he did. It was bad, but anyway, that was a sad passing.
Highly respected artist.
Yes, and amazing. 13 instruments he could play. He was just, what happens to those geniuses? Now they're trying to figure out whether it was a drug overdose or whether it was he had the flu and he had complications from the flu. There's so many different things that are going on. They think the flu is just I hate that about somebody. It's just, but his music's going to stay. I don't care what it happened from.
Right.
His music is going to be here, and it'll be held in that kind of, that kind of reverence that when he did it and all the things and all he changed and all that. My daughter said, it always creeped me out. I couldn't tell if I was attracted to him because he was a girl or he was a guy. I couldn't tell.
So the same could be said for another icon that died yesterday, which is China.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, China.
Yeah, China from WWE.
I don't see her as an icon, but
she was as tough as they get. She was a lady wrestler who was built better than most men that are on WWE. Her muscles were enormous.
She did when she was walking. Her back looked like, don't mess with this.
She's just rippled. Yeah. She was definitely a world apart from everybody else.
Right. So
and my son just loved China.
That's what
We saw her at the Conroe Fairgrounds during a monster truck rally.
Oh, good.
She was appearing there, and she was signing autographs because she was making her big Playboy debut.
You didn't let Adam see that, did you? You should. You better answer that quick.
Cricket sound.
You better answer that quick. You did not.
He's
let
30
him
years
see
old.
That.
He's 30 years old. Give me a break.
I don't care. No.
He's 30 years old.
I would not. My 40-year-old. No, my son's birthday is today. Chad, happy birthday, Chad. And he's almost 40. Birthday. So I was like, I wouldn't let him. And I remember finding a Playboy.
I never said I did.
I remember finding a Playboy in his room, and he said he was keeping it for a friend. Why is that that's the response of, like, you find cigarettes in there, you find alcohol.
It ain't mine,
everything.
Mom.
It's not mine. I'm keeping it for so-and-so so he didn't get in trouble. Oh, brother. And I go like, you know what? You're my second child. I've had other children now, and I know what the deal is. And then if Samantha tried that stuff, I said, you can't try those excuses. It doesn't work. But Adam, I'm glad he liked her. I'm sorry. Did you tell him that she died?
Oh yeah, well that's how I found out. I saw it on his Facebook page. Yeah, he knew it ahead of me. Yeah,
I hate that. But we're talking to Dennis O'Connor today, and this is a story that you've never heard. This is a side of Dennis O'Connor that you've never known, and this is something that he's, having to deal with. And I think a lot of people that have to go through divorces and have to go through allegations from one side to the other, and that trying to prove that this is not true, it becomes insurmountable because of our society today, especially. Everybody's very sensitive about any kind of accusations. But
I don't want to reinforce or encourage what they call the nuclear solution, which is to accuse your spouse of sexual abuse of your children, but and physical threats that you did not make. But if you accuse them of those things, unfortunately, especially in the case of a woman nowadays to a man, it works. It works very good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old, which I haven't seen in over 4 years, whom I was the stay-at-home dad with. I cut their cords in water births. I cut all 3 cords.
Now, Dennis, you left us with the story that you're trying to get this straightened out about your visitation rights, and you're at downtown courthouse.
Yeah, it was a simple thing. And
a police officer comes up to you and asks you if you're Dennis O'Connor.
Yeah, and he hands me this gigantic, it must have been 3/4 of an inch thick, worth of paperwork, which included in there the accusation that I had sexually abused my children, and that I was under an order of protection where I could not contact my children or my ex-wife. Well, she's an ex now. She was a wife then. But that I could not have any contact with them whatsoever, or I would go to jail for many, many years. And it was just a real shocker to me.
This just came out of left field.
I had no idea that, a person that's in that situation has no idea that the other person is capable of doing something like that.
Severe.
And I got to speak in third-party terms here because
I understand.
I cannot, I cannot
jeopidize this whole thing.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
I have no idea what's going to happen. So anyway, a person could, sitting under this order of protection, even
you're not allowed to contact them in any way.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Email, telephone, whatever. I was not allowed to contact them. And towards the end of that period of time, which was a gigantic, long line of stuff that I just could not, I could not fight. I got a public defender. And everybody out there should be going, "Oh no, you didn't get a public defender
in New York.
You didn't get a public defender, did you?" And I couldn't afford anything else at the time. Anyway, a person that is in that situation could possibly, at the very end of when the custody case is trying to come to court, a person like that could send an email that says something like this. They could send an email that says, "I have nor ever would abuse my kids. You have been ill-advised. Lying about me so you could get custody was a mistake. It may be too late, but it's time to come clean. I hope you realize that all of the false reports that you filed against me have been investigated and been deemed unfounded, which means that you have committed 3 counts of an S-240.5 falsely reporting an incident in the third degree. Allowing our kids to be questioned, examined, and now undergo therapy for events you fabricated is a very harmful thing. I have tried to reason why you would have done such a thing. I can't imagine what excuse you have to do this to our kids. Time to come clean. You know, a person could send that email when they're under an order of protection, and that person could then be arrested.
Because they
the
would
person
be
could
breaking
be
a violation.
Yes,
of the
because you're not
protection.
supposed to
No contact.
no contact.
But what if you were
You know,
unaware? What if
and
you? What if the
Well,
person?
if a person, even though the person didn't have a lawyer in court with him the day that he was allowed to email, but only that email was supposed to be allowed to talk about visitation times and rights. Because when you get into this order of protection thing, the judges will allow some visitation, and in my case, I was granted visitation rights, supervised visitation rights, where it ended up I would be meeting with my children in a public place, fluorescent lighting, linoleum floors, and it cost me $25 an hour to pay for the other person to sit across the room.
So you had to pay for the supervisor?
I had to pay $25 an hour for being able to sit down with my children.
Oh my word!
And it was well worth it. It's just that I didn't have, I could have had 2 hours if I had $50. But through all this, I had when I took care of adult, mentally handicapped people in group homes, and when they found out, somebody called them up and let them know that I was under suspicion of sexual molestation.
Ooh.
And so they laid me off without pay. And I was one of the best aides,
I bet they
most
loved you.
loving,
Of course you are.
adult aides you could be. And yet they laid me off because it was just, that's the way that has to happen, because you've been accused of it. So
That's
you're
it.
once again guilty until proven innocent. And so I had no income coming in. And I was poor as a church mouse. I lost my job. I had to go on, I went on unemployment. I was on food stamps. I was 2 inches from going homeless by the time I left New York. 2 inches from, there was no doubt about it. I was out of there.
That's what I mean. I
So I
told
couldn't
you at
hire
the
a
beginning.
lawyer.
I told you guys at the beginning, listening to the story, that when you think you've got it bad, sometimes you need to listen to other people's stories, and you realize, wow, I really don't have it so bad. We're going to come back after this break, and I want to ask you this question, if I can. If I can ask you the question, what did you say to your children when you did have that visitation rights to explain what was going on? We'll be right back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Don't go away.
The Cindy Cochran Show, real reality radio.
Lone Star Internet Radio is now bringing you the weekly business hour show each Monday morning at 11 a.m. My name is Rick Schisler, and I will be your host. Each week we will be bringing you local, area, and national business news that you can use. The program will also feature an interview with a local or national business person who will share their own experiences, successes, and failures in operating their businesses. Our show is for anyone who already owns a business, whether they work solo or have employees, and for those who are thinking about starting their own businesses. A bit of information about myself. Again, my name is Rick Schisler, and I am a Silver Fox advisor who has over 40 years' experience as a serial entrepreneur. As a part of our show, I will offer some advice and encouragement on our monthly topic, and I will take your questions by email at rschisler@silverfox.org or call into the station at 936-647-3776. See you on the radio Monday at 11 a.m. for the weekly business hour.
In a world where everyone with a smartphone is a photographer, unique images still stand out in local newspapers, magazines, and on the internet. Writer and photographer Brad Meyer has gained a reputation for innovation and quality, specializing in an editorial approach to portraits and event photography. For information, visit bkmeyer.com or call 281-221-4812.
SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County is a 501c3 all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our goals are fourfold: to rescue and rehabilitate homeless animals, to provide a safe haven for the animals until a suitable adoption or foster care home is found or until they are reunited with their owner, to educate the public about the great need to reduce pet population, which includes the importance of having their pets spayed and neutered, and to further the cause for humane and responsible pet ownership, and to provide a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for people who are unable to afford to spay or neuter their pets otherwise. SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com.
The East Texas Dream Center is in need of your help. We are a nonprofit Christian organization that houses women and children who are trying to get their lives back after being homeless, abused, or addicted. We are conveniently located at 301 South 1st Street, Conroe, Texas, 77301, right here in Montgomery County. Our needs are financial, and every needs of gasoline, cleaning supplies, laundry soap, Lysol, and whatever else God puts in your heart. To help our ladies and children, please consider a donation. You may visit our website at www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Again, so you don't forget, it's www.easttexasdreamcenter.org. Donations are tax deductible. Remember what Jesus said, with God, nothing is impossible.
Hey, this is Cindy Cochran, and now Conroe can boast of another first. The first morning live talk show, 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming straight out of the fabulous downtown Conroe, Texas. Be the coolest guy at the water cooler, or the most informed break room dweller by listening to the fun side of the news, local, national, infinity, and beyond. The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Thank you so much for listening. It's Friday, and hopefully you got some plans for this weekend. It's next weekend that we have Kid Fest here in Conroe, right? It's going to be all over the place.
Oh, man, all the way downtown, everywhere, yeah.
And, I mean, they put on
free for the kids.
An amazing festival for these children. And it is free, and these parents can come. And, you know, if you have something for kids, and especially if it's free, and the quality that they do this in, it's just amazing.
I was there for the first one.
You were for the first one?
Yeah, when we had Let Me Shine was still in existence there, and we did a Got Talent thing. And kids could come in, you know, but it was raining. The whole thing was just shut down.
No.
Oh, it was just shut down. So we got permission from the guy that used to live have his business next door to the Crichton, and he had an investigative place there. I can't remember his name, but we moved into his place so we could have the kids come in, and they could sing, and we gave out trophies to the best singer and all that.
Man.
And we were about the only game going because everybody else was just totally rained out.
Well, you can't do that now because it is huge, and it's amazing. You will, your kids will be able to be treated to things that they'd have to go and pay a lot of money to go do in other parks and things, amusement parks and stuff. So you have it right here, free here in Conroe, at the Heritage Park, and where it does come out.
Oh, it's all over
beyond-
downtown Conroe.
That's why I thought
It's
it came all the way out
downtown
to here.
Conroe.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think I lost Samuel and Cindy like 3 times in that, and when I came back the next year, they saw me and I lost them again, and they said, lady, you better keep care of your kids. But it was terrible. I was so embarrassed. I had to go walk up to him and say, "Excuse me, I can't find my child." But what I found out what happened though is the minute you say your child is missing,
Oh my.
they shut everything down. They send a call out to all the gates, all the entrances, and it's shut down. And everybody's checked that's coming in or out of that matches the description.
As it should be.
It is. They do not take that lightly at all.
No, as it should be.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
whenever
amazing.
there's the possibility of a harm to a child, you need to shut everything down.
The children
And
come first.
that
here.
was the problem I was dealing with. When you have false allegations about harm to a child, they'll shut everything down in order to isolate that child from the accused.
Yeah, the
accused.
accused.
So you're guilty until proven innocent in that situation, just for the sake of the child, and that I can totally understand.
Yeah, you want to be
that
over.
I can totally understand.
You want to be overprotective. That's
You
right.
want to be,
but
yes.
But at one point, the person's history, track record, and everything else should come in some way accountable, and it didn't seem to in your case.
No,
and
I never had my day in court.
My question that I ask you, and this is kind of it right now. The question I asked you was, what did you say to your children when you got that, that supervised visitation with them? What was it that you said to them?
Oh, this was like, you go from a stay-at-home dad 24/7, do all the cooking for them, do all the cleaning for them, do all the changing of diapers, do all the clothing, take them to school, do every single thing you can for them while your spouse works, who made a lot more money than I could ever dream of making, ever did make, and so that's why I became a stay-at-home dad, because she was making more money than I could ever dream of.
That's great.
So I took on the job because we didn't want our kids to be farmed out to a to a babysitter or anything. We wanted them to have the best food. It was all organic. Everything was homemade, and I did all that. I became a master chef. I became a clothes washer, which people know me now today. Said, "You actually wash clothes? Jeez, yeah, well, you haven't washed clothes in 2 months."
How?
Yeah, or cleaned up the house. 5 bathrooms to wash and clean up and change beds and all that stuff. And so I did that, and then I went from that to 1 hour a week and 2 hours, if I could afford it, to seeing them in a very, very sterile environment. And I tried to make it as loving as possible. I brought games in, I brought snacks in, cupcakes. I tried to make it as normal and as loving a moment as I could make it, and I did not breach the code of ethics of
slamming the spouse or anything
yes,
like that.
yes. And talking about, it was just like, don't worry, I'll be back with you soon. It's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. Give him all the hope I could. Hope is the fuel that powers love. I have that written on my wall. Hope is the fuel that powers love. Love doesn't come first. You have to have hope first. Then you add that in, and that's what makes love. That's what powers love. But anyway, it was so hard. It was so much fun, being with my kids again and playing games, and
but for 60 minutes.
Yeah, and
sad.
hugging them. And holding them and kissing them and trying not to break down in tears, but trying to make it as normal a situation as could be, which was extremely difficult. But I'm a pretty good actor, so I know how to set a scene, and I know how to and I try to just take their minds off of it, and let them know that you're with Dad. I love you. It's always been the same as it always was, and we'll work through this. And it just didn't happen.
I think that's the most pathetic, horrible, no justification, in the sense when one spouse will just, they can brainwash the children. We know that. Just brainwash those kids into justifying why they shouldn't feel bad or sad that Dad's not here or Mom's not here or whatever. They can do that to them, and
yes, they can.
To me, that
yes,
should be
they can.
That should be brought up as well as some kind of criminal act, because that's not fair. It messes them up.
These folks are never prosecuted for this.
No, of course
not. For any false allegation that occurs during a custody suit, divorce, no one is prosecuted for that, which gives them the right to say anything they want, the most horrifying things that they want. I mean, I know that it's possible to receive in the mail or delivered by a constable things that say that in the past he has said that he would slit my children's throat. He would shoot them, and he picked out each room of the house he would shoot them in, and defined that so to make an easy cleanup.
Oh my word!
That's a possibility which could happen to somebody. That's a possibility which could happen to somebody. A police officer could come to your door and give you a piece of paper that says that you had said these things.
Yeah.
And
no way to refute that.
There's nothing to do.
Nothing that you can do.
Nothing to do. What a judge sees that. A judge sees that and says, "My God, I got to protect these kids."
Right. Of course.
We got a maniac out there.
Of course. And all the while, Dennis understands that the family and friends he has here that see him every day, that see his actions with his son Adam, who he loves dearly and takes care of, all of the time, and see his sensitivity, see how he is with people and all that, and then have someone charge this. If you're listening to the story, this is the first time you've heard it, and you're a friend of Dennis, you're just going, what? And it's unbelievable, because it is unbelievable. And you just don't know what happens. But we know that people get pushed to a certain point, and they get desperate. Dennis, are you telling me, I'm the judge, and Dennis, you're telling me that you have no culpability in this? How she came to this decision, or how this person came to this decision, there's no culpability on your part for this?
I don't know how to answer that, because now you're getting personal, and I was trying to keep it.
Okay,
I was trying to keep it third person, and I can't talk about some of this stuff as I've been advised by my lawyer.
Okay,
but what did I do? Mercy, no. I never. The thought of hurting my children would never enter my mind. Has never entered my mind. In my darkest hours, I made mistakes in my marriage, which involved my wife and I,
right.
My ex-wife and I.
Right.
There were arguments. There were horrible arguments. They were awful. They were awful verbal disputes on both sides. And but as far as involving my children in it, no. That's why I hung on so long, because I happen to be we were broke up years before we broke up.
There you go.
We were broke up years before we were broke up.
And that happens. And people, there's nothing
I couldn't leave
stronger
my kids.
than that spirit of revenge. There's nothing stronger than that spitefulness, or this is how I'm going to end this. This is how I'm going to keep, I can move this person out of my life. And if a person that would connive to do something like that has that kind of mind. But I have never once ever seen that in you. I don't think you even, that's too much trouble to even think about. That's too much effort.
Yeah.
You would never want to even think, why would I go to that much trouble to be that, devious and demented?
No,
that's too much trouble.
If you read the custody paperwork I was filling out when I was served those papers, it just says, I want 50-50 visitation with my kids. I've been a stay-at-home dad. That's it. I didn't say nothing bad about her.
Right. That's what I mean. This has been so shocking because we know you. We feel like we know you. In so many years, you have to display something. And with the track record that you have, where there is, you've been nothing but annoying.
I've never done a violent thing in my life.
No, you're annoying. You do things that are obnoxious and things like that, but never
got
anything
a bad sense of humor.
Yeah, it's a bad sense of humor. And your mouth, you're cursing. Oh my word! But
I've been a construction worker all my life.
I know, but here's what you've been great today. I'm so proud of you. I
know.
can't believe
I've been good.
But I want to tell you something. Is that it is the same way that God looks at people, though. There can be a rough exterior and all that, but He knows that heart, and you know your heart. Adam knows your heart, and I can look at Adam's eyes and judge you from that because of how.
It sure makes me wish that God exists.
See, that's
what sure makes me wish that God exists.
Listen,
because there'd be a justice, there'd be something. But I believe in the afterlife. I believe in that life never ends, and love never dies, and that at some point, I have gone completely public with all of my information.
Yes.
Since my kids were legally kidnapped from me. I have gone totally public. My Facebook, anybody can see it. Anybody can look at it. There are no filters with anything I do, and I'm big on no filters.
We can,
and I've sent the entire story to a lot of people over the United States, who someday my children can go to and say, "Oh, were you an old friend of my dad's? What's the deal?" And so I've sent the truth is out there, and I stand by it, and it's fine, and it's there for my kids to see, and it'll be a shame when they finally realize the truth about what happened.
Right.
It'll just be a shame.
It will be, but it'll be good to have that out there and done, and then there's always times that you can create that relationship again. Wow. And like nothing had ever, no time had passed. There's a kind of relationship that you could build with them.
Well, that's where hope comes in.
That's exactly right. And that all this time you have loved them, and all this time you have thought about them. I just wish that you believed in God so you could have prayed for them all this time.
I believe in God, in the fact that we're God. You're God, I'm God, we're all God, we're all one. We're all part of the same universe. We're all part of the same thing.
Only doctors
think that. We don't have I just don't accept the fact that there's some white cat up there that's gonna judge me, and I believe that I'm going to be held accountable for everything I did.
Right.
But that's because the universe is accountable for everything it does.
Dennis.
And I believe that I'm going to see my whole life pass before my eyes, and I'm going to have to deal with what I did wrong this time, just like I've done over and over again through all my past lives, because I don't believe you get one shot at this. That'd be stupid. It makes no sense to me. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that I've been here before, and that I've dealt with this ex-wife before, and that I've dealt with these children before, and we've been in relationships before.
Well, Dennis,
and we are now again.
But don't you see, you've created your own faith, and you've created your own belief system. But there could be a supreme being. I believe that God is in all of us. We were created in His likeness. Yes, exactly. You're exactly right. But there's a love and a forgiveness.
I don't separate Him from me. I don't separate a God from myself.
Guess what? God said, nobody can separate you from me.
I
if you
believe that.
believe in me.
There you go.
Nobody can
Well,
separate.
there's some truth in the Bible.
See, there is. And the fact that
There's a shred of truth in the Bible. There's a seed of truth.
He loves you.
But it's been messed up by humans, you know.
Well, he loves you, and he sees just like I see through his eyes, just like you're saying. You know, there's God in me, there's God in everyone, but that sees what you're about and what your character really is deep down inside.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the
see
neatest
that.
person I would ever want to see in the whole existence of the universe would be Jesus.
Yes.
I gotta talk to that guy.
See?
You know, I can't wait.
Well,
That'll be fun.
So that's exciting. That's all he needs
But
to hear.
I'm not,
is, I want
it's
to
not
talk
the
to you.
human. It's not the human version of him.
Yeah.
You know, it's a spiritual version of him, which
Sure.
humans missed 2,000 years ago. They started writing it wrong.
Yeah, but you know, when he was here, you love the fact that he was here and experienced all this ridiculousness that we go through, and he fought against it. So when you read the story of him, you see, like, good grief.
Well, he
had it
knows
bad
what
too.
injustice is like, huh?
I think he does.
He knows
I
what
think-
being crucified
And you didn't do anything
is
wrong.
like.
And he didn't do anything wrong. So don't you think God can understand what you're going through? So he
If there
can.
was a God, he could, yeah.
Okay, listen, thank you so much, Dennis. We love you, and we just will be praying. We got a lot of good prayer warriors out there praying for this, and this goes well, and we'll keep you updated, guys. They're listening in. Thank you, Dennis, for being so courageous and giving us your story. Listen, we'll be back next week. We got a full week. We've got Eric Dimmer, who's the saxophonist for B.B. King. So many, he's got so many stories about all the people he's played for. And a lot of good things happening that you have got to stay tuned with. But have fun this weekend. Make somebody happy. You'll be happier. And just enjoy today. Thank you so much for listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. We'll be back next week.
It could be
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.